Hey guys, what is up? It's AJ from Rock's Table here, and today we are finally doing our NHL 2023 Mock Draft. Long overdue. The draft is tomorrow. I need to get this out today. Let's go. Very good draft class. Generational talents in Bedard and possibly Michkov. I'm excited to see how this draft class does. I think this is one of the draft classes that are actually they actually have a decent shot of living up to the hype they have right now. I think Bedard's a slam dunk, not to be, Connor McDavid, but to be an incredible player in the NHL. And I think a lot of the other, top 10 guys will be very, very good as well. I mean, not a hot take. A top 10 player will live up to a top 10 player potential here. So, enough of me waffling around. Let's just get right into it. First off, we have the Chicago Blackhawks with the number one pick, and obviously they're going to go Connor Bedard. No debate here. It's Connor Bedard. We know he's going to one at this point. I'm excited to see what he does. Hopefully the NHL does this correctly and puts McDavid versus Bedard, opening weekend of the 24 NHL season. Up next, we have the Anaheim Ducks, and we're going to have them taking Adam Fantilli. Once again, self-explanatory. Michkov, in my opinion, is the second best player in the draft. Teams are a little bit weary to pick him because of him signing a 2-year deal in Russia, and for the potential that he doesn't want to play for some teams. I don't know how true that last part is, because apparently he wasn't scheduling meetings with teams, but now he is. So everything's kind of up in the air. I'm pretty sure teams like the Sharks and other teams were able to get a meeting with Michkov when they originally thought they weren't. So I don't know too much about that. I'm not in the meeting room. Number 3, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets. And once again, they're not going to go Michkov. They're going to go Leo Carlsson, the safe, sound pick. Michkov's a better player, yes, but, Leo Carlsson's going to for sure play for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And it's a shame because these teams really got kind of screwed out of a potential generational talent. I mean, I know the Ducks aren't complaining about Fantilli by any means, but you see Leo Carlsson going 3, and you could have had, Michkov or Fantilli. Kind of does suck to be a Blue Jackets fan. Carlson will be a good player, but, you really want one of the big 3, and I don't see them taking that risk on a guy that might never play there. Number 4, we have the San Jose Sharks, and they're going to go a little bit off the board. Well, not really a little bit off the board, maybe for this board, but they're going to go Will Smith. Will Smith had a really good year. Good player, good U.S. player. The Sharks are kind of in a weird spot. They're not going to really be contending anytime soon, so might as well go the best player on the board that isn't Michkov. And I'm saying Michkov way too much here. But good forward, good year, came from the U.S. Development Program. Excited to see what he could do. Put him alongside Bordelou, Ekblad, and I believe Ozzy Weisblatt. It's their best prospects coming up. I'm probably forgetting one or two, but they have some good forward prospects coming up. So Will Smith will definitely be probably the face and the best name alongside those guys. At number 5, I've seen a lot of reporters and journalists basically say the Canadiens are going to pick David Reinbacher, one of the better defensemen of this year's draft. Number 5 is a little bit too early for him, in my opinion. I think maybe not too early, but I don't think he should be in the top 5. Probably will be, but I'm going to go off what I think is going to happen, or, my prediction, not what actually is probably going to happen. We're going Michkov here. So if Michkov is going to be specific, which I don't know if he is, but if he's going to be picky about where he wants to play, why wouldn't he go to Montreal then? Probably one of the greatest cities in North America, one of the best hockey cultures in the world. It's Montreal. Why wouldn't Michkov go there? Getting him at 5, getting a potential generational talent at 5, it's a slam dunk for both sides. He gets to go somewhere he really wants to, and the Canadiens could also take their future gem, potentially. They've made riskier picks like this before. They drafted Cole Caulfield, who I didn't think was a risky pick, but the media portrayed it as a risky pick, and teams didn't draft him as early as they should have. And also going Uri Slafkovsky at 1. So, it's not out of their character to make a riskier pick like Michkov. With him going 5, I'm going to go for an organizational need here for the Arizona Coyotes. They have a lot of good forwards. You could go Dvorsky here, and they probably will go Dvorsky here. I think they should probably go Reinbacher, though. You're going to look back at this in a few years and be like, oh, Dvorsky's like a 3-time All-Star, and Reinbacher played like 50 games. Well, tough shit. I think that they should go Reinbacher here. Their defense core for their organizational needs is pretty brutal here. They have another first-round pick at 12. Do we really, look at Victor Soderstrom, man. He has not been as good as advertised, sadly, for them. They need some defense prospects and need them fast. Their decor is just rotten garbage. Number 7, we're going to give the Philadelphia Flyers Dalibor Dvorsky. Sorry, Arizona. Dvorsky has potential to be a great player. His skating isn't the best, but his offensive awareness and skills are out of this world, the reporters are saying. So Dvorsky makes sense for a team that really has their organizational need is everything. I'm not basing everything off organizational need because I believe personally you always take the best player on the board unless it's a goalie. Dvorsky makes sense for a team that also just has one guy that they consider untouchable, and it's a guy who's never played an NHL game for them in Cutter Gauthier. Interesting times in Philadelphia, but Breer's been doing a good job in my opinion, so we'll see. I think Dvorsky's a slam dunk pick for them. At number 8, there's a few guys Washington can go for. They have one of the worst prospect pools in the league, besides like Hendrix Pierre, and I think there's like maybe one or two. Connor McMichael, I guess, but he hasn't really been too special yet, but he's still very young. They could go Matthew Wood, or they could go, if we just scroll down a little bit further, Ryan Leonard. I think they might go Ryan Leonard here. A little bit off the board for cap friendly. I know he's been higher up on a lot of them. Good winger, good player. Kind of going just the best player on most people's board would be Ryan Leonard. I'm surprised cap friendly has him that low, though. Moving on to number 9, we have the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings are an interesting team when they draft. I feel like they always make a off-the-board pick and going, their scouting's top tier. Look at them. Everyone said they went way too early on Moritz Seider. No one really watched Moritz Seider play in Germany, so besides the Red Wings. So that's a lie. Many teams probably did, but you understand what I mean. Most of, casual fans or the media have not watched a game of Moritz Seider when he was playing, not in North America. And rightfully so. Fair enough. I wouldn't be surprised if they went for a guy like Yeager or a Zach Benson here. I think they're going to go a little bit off the board for a more sound pick in Nate Danielson. You're going to see him at 23 and think I'm an idiot. Fair enough. They're definitely not going to go Nate Danielson, but I just feel like they're going to go off the board and not something more basic up top. That's just kind of the Yzerman way at this point. They always find someone else. I'm interested to see what they actually do, though. Let me just scroll down a little bit. If you can go a few guys here, I think Andrew Crystal, he's rated way too high on this. They have him at 9. I think he's going to go more in the mid, 15 to 18 area. Very good player, but people are really hyping him up right now. I like seeing it because he's going to be good, but people are really, back in the Crystal train. I don't know how to say his name. Like I said, I haven't watched most of these players play live, so if I mispronounce someone's name, don't shoot me. Moving on to number 10, the St. Louis Blues will get Zach Benson. He did fall a little bit, as you could tell, in my mock draft. I think Benson's going to be a fine player. I don't know how great he's going to be. He has good offensive skills. The issue with him is skating, like I said, for Dvorsky. I've seen people make the argument, but look at John Tavares, look at Jamie Benn. They were very good NHL players, and their skating wasn't the best. Fine, fair enough. I just don't think Benson will be great. Watch him be a 5-time All-Star and shove it right back in my face. We'll see. I'm not the biggest Benson guy. I think 10's probably a little bit too low for him. I think he can probably go 8. The NHL draft is weird. I'm making a weird mock draft as well, so I'm not just going to pick the best player on the board and him here, him there, him here, no, we're not going to do that. At number 11, we have the Vancouver Canucks, and they're an interesting team here. They probably should go Crystal here or look for a defenseman because... yeah, their prospect pool is interesting now. They did get Aatu Räty for Bo Horvat in that trade. Their prospect pool's all right. I'm trying to even think of the guys. I don't even remember anyone off the top of my head. I'll put the guys down below, commented on the video you're looking at it right now. For them, we'll go Matthew Wood. Matthew Wood's an interesting case because he's a Canadian kid who played college hockey in America. Really good year for UConn. I like Matthew Wood. I think he'll be a pretty good player in the NHL. All right, so moving on to number 12, the Arizona Coyotes are back up on the clock. They already picked the defenseman. We're going to give him a forward here. We're not going to go Sailor Crystal. We're going to go Oliver Moore. He's going to be one of the best. I'm a little bit interested in this one because they already have a really good forward core. They could go another defenseman. There's not too many great high upside defensemen in this draft. That could be,
my best guess with it.
Next Moritz Seider.
Really give high
but I think Oliver Moore is a fine shout. Good center.
I expect the Coyotes not to pick two
pretty
forwards
good potential.
in the first
Good
round.
two-way
They really
player.
start
looking
At
at
12,
some
it makes
defensemen.
sense for him to
I
go
trust
around there for going
the
off what
guys they
everyone else
have
is saying.
drafted. I think
But
Matthias
just going back
Michelli,
and forth through mock
emerged
draft,
recently.
they have him going around the top
really
15.
good
I don't want to
year.
put him too
Dylan
low.
Gunther,
I don't want to put him too high either. So I
Logan
think 12 is a
Cooley.
fine
They have
spot.
so many good
They go
young
forward. They go center, which is
are very exciting.
can never have enough centers in the
Obviously
NHL. You can go center,
Andrew
and they
Cristall
go
to go
the
with
best
Clayton
defenseman
Keller
in the
if they
draft.
don't trade him.
At number
definitely
13, a
forgetting,
team
like,
that
one really
needs a
big prospect
defenseman. I've
name,
seen
and I
some
do
people
apologize
say
here.
that they're going to go forward. I don't really
At
agree
number
with that.
13, we have
I think
the
they're going to go with one of
Buffalo
the better
Sabres. I'm
defensemen in this
Arizona
draft,
Coyotes
Lucas
again.
Dragovic.
The Buffalo Sabres at
Dragovic is
13.
an absolute pain in the
They
ass to
can go
play
a few
against.
ways
Tough
here.
defenseman,
They do have a lot of
strong
really good forwards
defenseman, good
ready and coming
defenseman
up,
in his
like
own end.
Matty Savoie's going to be
That's what they
going
need.
soon.
That's what Buffalo needs. This is a straight positional
they
need
drafted
here.
is going to be
After
ready
having
soon.
power and
I
goal
think
lead,
they probably should go
getting
more
Dragovic,
defensive
getting a
here.
guy that can
And
really
I'll look
lock
at the
down your own end
defensemen.
is
I
a
know I have a
very,
few in
very,
mind for them.
very
I'm gonna go by
important
last name.
thing the Buffalo Sabres need to be
There's a
looking
few
for.
really
and
good
that's what we'll
defensemen
get
here.
We're
gonna
moving on to
give,
Pittsburgh. They can go in many ways here. They can really do whatever they want. Their prospect pool is really bad. With all due respect, I think they should swing for the high upside guy, and I think they're going to do that with Dubas. Then they're going to go Andrew Cristall at 14. He might go a little bit higher. If he went 12 to the Arizona Coyotes, I could see that happening, but I don't know if they're going to be going after more undersized wingers. It wouldn't shock me. So we're going to put him at 14 here for now. Solid player, solid pick. Could be one of the best players in the draft. At number 15, I believe the Nashville Predators will take a defenseman, and not the defenseman you might think. You might look at a guy like Mikhail Gulyayev. We're going to go with that. That's probably not how you pronounce his name. A big defenseman, good defensive defenseman from Barry Trotz. Nah, they're going to pick the offensive guy in Pellikka. Axel Sandin Pellikka. Good prospect, has high upside as an offensive defenseman. The Predators tend to have a lot of European guys, so I think it's a perfect mesh of all three. It makes sense in my head. We're going to run with it. At 16, we're going to go with a guy that a lot of people have higher than this, but Colby Barlow. A lot of people have him in the top 8, top 9. I don't see him going that high. I'm not too impressed by the player. He could be a good NHL player, but I'm not. If he doesn't pan out, I wouldn't be too shocked. At number 17, we have the Detroit Red Wings, and we're going to go another guy that some guys have really high, some guys have really low, and we're going to go defenseman here, Tom Willander. Very good skater, very good puck mover. I think he could be a good fit on their blue line. They do have Simon Edvinsson coming up soon. Obviously, they have Seider. Willander, we'll see how he pans out, but it makes sense for them going, once again, the European route, especially Sweden. That's kind of their cash cow right there. Would not shock me at all. At 18, the Winnipeg Jets are going to get very lucky and get Edward Sale. One of the more high upside guys of this draft. I think Sale's going to be a very good NHL player. Dropping all the way to 18 is unfortunate for him, but very fortunate for the Winnipeg Jets. Alright, at 19, we're going to go a defenseman for the Chicago Blackhawks this time. We're not going to take one of the top guys like Caden Price or Gulyayev. I'm going to pronounce that name so wrong so many times. Instead, we're going for a different Russian defenseman. We're going to be going for, I believe his name is Dmitry Simashev. Simashev is going to be a probable NHLer guy that just brings it. He's all, tooth and nails, tough defenseman. Pretty good skater too. I saw a few recommendations on him. So I think at 19, getting into almost guaranteed NHL players, kind of like how the Rangers picked Braden Schneider a few years ago. Maybe not the highest upside, but a high ceiling, which is always nice to see. I think Simashev is that guy of this year's draft. I think he's going to be a solid NHLer for a long time. Doesn't have to be an all-star. Doesn't have to be a Blackhawk legend. But you need guys to play and guys that will play defense very well. So him at 19 is a good pick for Chicago. At 20, we have the Seattle Kraken. They can go many, many ways here, except center. Obviously, they got Beniers and Wright. I don't see him picking another center. I do have them picking someone related to an NHLer, though. We're going to have them select Ethan Gauthier, a right winger. Gauthier had a very good year, putting up over 30 goals. Most of those were even strength as well. Scouts say this guy has that quote-unquote gamer mentality, and in a big game, you want to see Ethan Gauthier on your lineup. I think he could be a good fit for Seattle. Obviously, he's going to be younger, so he won't be there for a few years, but as they get older, they're going to need a guy like Ethan Gauthier to step up if they're going to be a real-deal team, which they honestly might be at this point. A few years down the line, obviously. At 21, we have the Minnesota Wild, and they can really go anywhere either. They don't have the strongest crop. They have a weird prospect pool. Obviously, they have some bigger names that haven't really made big contributions yet to the team, like Marco Rossi. We're going to have them taking another center here, though, but we're going to be giving them Brandon Yeager, if I can spell his name right. Or Braden Yeager, sorry. Braden Yeager. I always thought it was Brandon, wow. Braden Yeager. Very good two-way forward. You know, pretty high upside if he can get that offensive game to the next level. But he's just a sound player, good pick for Minnesota. Get them some good NHL talent, young talent. Get him. Brandon Yeager, 21. At 22 for Philadelphia, they can go anywhere. We're just going to go top of the board and give him Gulyayev here. Good mobile skater, has that upside to be a power play guy. Philly needs whatever they can get, so just take the best guy on the board. And I think this guy around here is probably the best guy on the board. For the Rangers, I don't know who they're going to go. They can go a few guys. I think Riley Heat would probably be the best pick here. He has similar... I believe this is a guy that's being compared to Barzal right now, so we'll take Riley Heat for the New York Rangers. Similar to Matt Barzal, very good skater, very quick, good hockey IQ. Could he work out? Possibly. I don't really trust the Rangers development system after what we've seen recently, so they did develop some guys, but I wouldn't be too sure of anyone being a slam dunk with the New York Rangers at this point, with all due respect. At number 4, we have, once again, the Nashville Predators, and this one can go anywhere. I feel like they're going to go more for a center, though, get that center spot locked down. They're just going to take Callum Ritchie. Callum Ritchie, Canadian kid, pretty fine pick there. Nothing too crazy to get hyped up about. He's fine. It's a safe pick for Barry Trotz. I know he was wanting more of the home run picks, but I don't really see too many more down here that I know of personally. There's no one, maybe Musty. I don't see Musty really being a Predator, though. That's going to be taken out of context, and I apologize. Up next, we have the St. Louis Blues, and I'm going to have them also go for a center, and this time in Otto Stenberg. Stenberg's fine. He gets the job done. I think he's actually going to be a pretty solid middle six forward center. He could do some numbers for the Blues. Maybe he gets traded. I'm not too familiar with his game. I've seen some people say he's, bigger build, bigger body, good two-way center. Moving on to 26, the San Jose Sharks, a pick they got in the Timo Meier deal. I have them going with Oliver Bonk, probably the best name in the draft. Just a fun name to say. High upside defenseman. I like Bonk a lot. I think he's going to be a good pick for San Jose. They can also take whatever they get, like we said before. So take Bonk. Bonk would be a good choice. Just take it and ride it out. Moving on to 27, we have the Colorado Avalanche, and I have them selecting the son of former NHLer Yannick Perreault in Gabe Perreault. Do national, obviously, American and Canadian. This kid's going to be one of the more premier playmakers if he makes it to the league. Has a pretty high upside. I saw the NHL put out a scouting report on him saying he could really thread the needle. So, good playmaker, good center. We'll see what he can do. The Avalanche really need a guy who could come in, in a year or two on a nice ELC and help them try to win another cup. Moving on to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and this guy just makes so much sense for Toronto. I could just see the Toronto media tweeting about how much they love him in Quentin Musty, an American winger. Musty had a good year in Sudbury, I believe he played in. If I'm wrong, I'll put that down below. But I could just see Musty being a great impact player for the Maple Leafs. It just makes so much sense for me, in my head at least. So let's see if it happens. I think Musty to Toronto would be awesome. At 29, here's one of the guys I've been seeing a lot of people rave about. Maybe not rave about, but I've seen some pretty high praise for this guy. I don't know too much about him, so I'm not going to talk like I know his game or who he really is. In Samuel Honzek. I don't really know too much about him, so I just have seen his name around there. We're going to put him there. I don't know too much about the player. One of the guys I don't really know anything at all. I'm just not going to make up stuff to say I act like I know what I'm saying. At number 30 for the Carolina Hurricanes, I'm going to have them making a pretty safe pick, a pretty sound pick, and a pretty Carolina Hurricanes pick in Caden Price. Price is nothing too flashy, nothing too special, just a solid two-way defenseman, good skater. But when you put him in Carolina's system, who knows what could happen. They could take guys that come out of nowhere, such as Jalen Chatfield, and turn them into very good NHL defensemen. I think that pick will work out very well for them. At number 31, we have the Montreal Canadiens, and obviously I'm saying that in the French accent, my quote-unquote French accent, and we're going to make them pick a French-Canadian. Etienne Morin. Probably said the guy's name terribly wrong, I apologize. Guy played in the queue. It makes sense. They really don't need another defenseman, but we're going to do it anyway because they can. They do have Xhaka. They do have Caden Gooley, but I could see him going Moran, got to get the Quebec kids. And at 32, we're just going to pick probably the second best name in the draft after Bonk. You got Bonk, and then you got Butt. Danil Butt, pretty good player from Russia. I haven't really watched his game too much. I've seen some guys have him dropping down to the middle of the second round because of some of the issues going on in Russia. I don't think that's the case here. I think Vegas will go with him at number 32. Solid player, solid upside. Pretty good offensive game, pretty good shot on him. So I'm excited to see if he does come over, how good he'll be. I know Vegas has had some interesting past with the Russian players, such as Shipmachev, or I believe it was Vladimir Shipnachev. One of the guys that's supposed to be a highly touted KHL star came over, played like 10 games, and then left. His name's down below. But yeah, that's my mock draft. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next year, and let me know which take I had here was the worst. I don't know these guys that well. Some of them, I'm just going off of what other people said. I haven't really watched most of their tape. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Have a good one. Peace out, everybody.